shaking through the atmosphere, and it all looks good from here. Remember, everything will be alright. We can meet again somewhere far away from here.
Hey everyone, this is Jessica, aka New Wave Rocker J. It's been a full year since I last uploaded a video on this channel. If you clicked on this video, yes, it's the end of an era. I'm officially quitting YouTube. In 2025, YouTube hit its 20th anniversary, and next year, 2027, will mark exactly 20 years since I started my oldest channel, Crazy for Howard Jones. I've been navigating the corners of this platform for literally 2 decades. It's also the 10th anniversary of this channel, New Wave Rocker J. But reaching these milestones hasn't made me feel celebratory. It made me reflective and honestly a bit bittersweet. We're already more than halfway through 2026. Every single morning I wake up exhausted, looking at the ceiling, genuinely not knowing what time period I'm in or what plan I'm on. Time moves at a terrifying speed now. Back in the 90s, time felt slow. It felt real. I'm incredibly grateful I got to experience the Y2K era as a child. Those times weren't perfect, but they felt magical. For me, those were the best moments because honestly, it feels like everything in the 21st century has been a complete sham. I miss the days when the future promised to us was optimistic and progressive. And what sucks about life is that the good times fly by in a flash, while the bad times seem to drag on forever. Over these past few months, I've come to a hard realization. I've reached my absolute limit as a creator. It is time for me to leave YouTube for good and focus on my life offline. No, this isn't clickbait. This isn't a joke to get views. I'm being completely serious. I first became a YouTuber back in 2006. I was 12 years old, a year younger than the required registration age. That account, Sailor Star 98, got suspended because I uploaded copyrighted Disney movies. So I started my next channel, Crazy for Howard Jones, in 2007, which ended up being my longest running one. Almost 20 years ago, I grew up watching the pioneers of this platform. If you're a real one, you remember the Numa Numa guy, aka Gary Brolsma. You also remember the song Chocolate Rain by Tay Zonde. I watched creators like Trisha Paytas, Paper Lilies, Chris Crocker, and Michelle Phan when they were just starting out. These were the pioneers that shaped YouTube into what it is today. YouTube back then was the wild west. This was before Google bought it and corporate interests took over. It was my escape from school and the personal problems I was dealing with at home. As a teenager, I was deeply anxious, depressed, and incredibly angry. I hated everyone and everything. That's why I gravitated towards the old school ranting community. I used to watch creators like Muse Productions, Undertaker 1127, and Ginnerella. Listening to them made me feel less alone in my frustration about the world. Back then, I didn't show my face. I only made AMVs, anime music videos, using my favorite songs or joke videos for Tumblr. It was fun. There were no restrictions, no copyright strikes every 5 seconds, no intense algorithms. You could fully customize your channel page with HTML and background music and just message other creators. When I was young, I sort of looked up to those early pioneers. Now that I'm in my 30s, I realize some of those creators weren't exactly the best role models, and some probably aren't people I'd want to meet in real life. A lot of them stopped making videos entirely and just vanished from the face of the earth, but that's okay. It reminded me that there are real humans behind these screens, including me. Back then, it took literal hours to upload a 3-minute video that looked like it was filmed on a potato. I edited most of my videos on Windows Movie Maker. It wasn't professional, but it got the job done. I definitely wouldn't use it today though. By the late 2000s and early 2010s, YouTube was bought by Google and began the YouTube Partner Program, which introduced monetization to top performing creators. I started this channel New Wave Rocker J in 2016, right after I graduated from college. It was the first time I ever dared to step in front of the camera, but the catalyst for starting it wasn't just graduation. It came from a place of deep personal tragedy. Shortly after finishing college, one of my elementary school friends was killed in a car accident. She was only 21. It breaks my heart that she never got to accomplish the things she wanted to do. She always accompanied me during college lunch breaks. She was the opposite of me, optimistic, always helping others, and constantly encouraging me to break out of my shell because I was so timid and cynical. I, on the other hand, didn't really care about anyone or anything. When she passed, I got really sad, but her voice stayed in my head, telling me to try new things. At the same time, I was working miserable retail jobs and desperately wanted a digital portfolio so employers could see my creative work. I never thought I'd be capable of making videos of myself. I was incredibly self-conscious about my appearance and the way my voice sounded. I named the channel after my favorite 80s music genre, new wave, combined with rocker, and the first initial of my first name, J. I wanted to use my real name, but it felt boring. In recent years, I wanted to rebrand to something more professional, but I guess New Wave Rocker J just stuck for the long run. Nobody tells you how tedious it is to run a small channel, and how much work goes on behind the scenes. The endless camera setups, the lack of a proper studio, buying expensive microphones and gear, scripting, finding time to film and edit, designing thumbnails, and then dealing with negative criticism, trying to find your niche and your audience while balancing your personal privacy with the demand for authenticity. It's a trial and error process. Over the years, I've deleted a ton of videos because they dealt with controversial opinions. I learned the hard way that a lot of people don't want to hear uncomfortable truths, so I just gave up making that type of content. I look back at some of my old videos now and absolutely cringe. For the past 3 years, I've been fighting creative burnout, depression, and a total lack of inspiration. I lost my passion for YouTube a long time ago, but I have no regrets. My efforts didn't go entirely to waste. Through this channel, I've met and collaborated with some incredibly cool people across the globe, even though most of us don't speak anymore because life got in the way. I am deeply grateful for the times we shared. Even when we didn't agree on everything, I will always cherish those moments. Being a millennial content creator in a cyberspace completely dominated by Gen Z influencers is a surreal experience. Interests have changed entirely. I could never relate to my own generation, and I can't relate to Generation Z either. Millennials are the last generation to remember what the world felt like before the internet and before 9/11. Now looking at modern society, it feels like we're watching a slow decay. It feels like a race to the bottom instead of a race to the top. Let's be real, everyone is cooked. The baby boomers lived a comfortable economic life, and the younger generations are stuck footing the bill. The political landscape is a total shit show. It doesn't matter who you vote for anymore. It's the exact same outcome. Both parties are just two sides of the same corrupt coin, which is why I've always leaned towards libertarianism. It feels like the only sensible balance left. I genuinely feel bad for younger generations. Life isn't fun anymore. We've entered the age of Aquarius, which means radical transparency, but also absolute chaos. Everything hidden in the past is being brought to light, and the young people are forced to fight like hell just to have a future because the powers that be don't want them to have one. Gen Z and Gen Alpha have it so much harder than millennials, and it reflects on platforms like this. It is incredibly difficult to attract an audience or get views now because of how the YouTube algorithm operates. It's not just me saying this. Veteran creators are voicing the same thing and are quitting in numbers because there is zero return on investment. You spend days making a video for it to get little to no views. That's why YouTube isn't a viable 9-to-5 job anymore. It's a side hustle completely dependent on an algorithm that decides whether or not to make you viral. During my entire time on YouTube, I have never earned real money or high view counts. I never reached popularity status. I'm never getting a silver play button because I don't make mukbangs or ASMR videos, which seem to be the only videos getting views these days. Lately, since 2025, I've been experimenting with YouTube Shorts, especially during that whole Labubu craze. Shorts get attention because everyone's attention span has been completely fried, and that brings us to the AI shift. I have incredibly mixed feelings about it. I'm guilty of using AI myself sometimes when I just need to brainstorm for ideas or look for information. It has helped me out and saved me hours of work, but the reality of why AI is replacing human creators and workers is because we, as a species, have become lazy and entitled. We don't want to put effort into anything anymore. Imagination is dying. We can't even read and write anymore. AI is fascinating when it comes to technological advancements, yes, but watching humans lose their livelihoods to robots is terrifying. But we can't live in the past forever. We have to adapt to the new era, whether we like it or not. So, what has my life actually looked like over these past 5 years? Post-COVID life has been a series of extreme stress and constant disappointments. The arguments with my family about the economic collapse in America and trying to survive this insane inflation are endless at the dinner table. It has driven me absolutely bonkers. On top of that, I've been dealing with physical and emotional health issues. Creating content when you're in your 30s is a completely different ballgame than doing it in your 20s. Your energy changes because you have more responsibilities to handle offline. But I've learned an important lesson. The more rigid expectations you hold over your life, the more frustrated and disappointed you'll be. No matter how badly you want to control the script, you cannot control reality. Letting go of those strict expectations is the only way you can sleep at night. You can't control other people, but you can only control your reaction to them. The older you get, the less bullshit you tolerate. You start protecting your peace fiercely. My Gen X immigrant parents are getting older and senile. They've been working in the United States ever since they first arrived in New York City 37 years ago. In less than a decade, they'll be retiring, and seeing them age is a reality check. They look at things like AI and they just can't adapt to it. I used to film a lot of vlogs in New York City with my older sister, friends, and co-workers because I had the stamina for it. Not anymore. New York City has become incredibly dangerous, stressful, and toxic. People are mentally ill, rude, and completely pushed to their limits. Most are attention junkies who seek validation from strangers, thanks to social media. Tech addiction didn't just hook kids, it mentally sidelined parents during their children's most crucial developmental years. Deprived of real presence at home, these kids grew up hungry for connection, eventually running to the internet for a quick fix. But stranger validation is a poor substitute for parental love. It's addictive because it never actually satisfies. The result, a generation of online attention junkies who are emotionally stunted, effectively trapped in the psyche of a 6-year-old, doom scrolling on a smartphone. New York City feels like a ghost town in a lot of ways because people are packing up and moving out every single day. Everyone is consumed by their own survival. My guard is higher because it has become a dog-eat-dog world. Anyone who has their Saturn in Pisces knows exactly what kind of absolute turmoil these past 3 years have brought. That forced me to pivot my career away from traditional filmmaking and towards AI technology. When you're young, you see the film industry through rose-colored glasses. You see potential. When you get older, you see the brutal, ugly truth. Not all that glitters is gold. The reality of Hollywood and filmmaking is that talent, education, and creativity mean absolutely nothing if you don't have connections. It is entirely about nepotism and who you know. And if you're a woman, the selective hiring process makes it 10 times worse. The internet completely cracked open Hollywood's box of corruption. And honestly, seeing that can of worms opened made me lose all desire to pursue it. The Oscars ratings are plummeting for a reason. They are a lost cause that refuses to listen to their audience. Look at Gen Z director Kane Parsons. His Backrooms A24 film absolutely shattered box office records, beating out massive franchise movies like The Mandalorian and Grogu. It proved you don't need film school anymore. But for most young people, a career in technology is vastly more promising. Gen Z has no choice. They have to find practical, high-utility jobs immediately because college tuition is skyrocketing and the job market is a high-risk, low-reward wasteland. Entertainment is cooked, the film industry is churning out bad content, movie theaters are losing money, MTV is ancient history, and traditional TV is dead. YouTube is hosting the Oscars in 2029, which shows how desperate Hollywood is becoming to be relevant. We are now living in a cultural dark age where human innovation has stagnated. We aren't inventing anything new anymore. We're just aggressively recycling the past, creating a culture of nostalgia and longing for the good old days. I went through my Saturn return between 2023 and 2024. It threw so many curveballs and painful redirections my way, but it was entirely life-changing. It taught me that people enter your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Everything is connected. You can learn something valuable from every single experience, no matter how good or bad it was. As I navigate my 30s, I'm choosing appreciation over bitterness. I'm choosing peace over chaos. But I still hold deep nostalgia for the late 90s and early 2000s. We are witnessing the definitive end of an old era and the dawn of a terrifying new one. Honestly, this planet needs a massive reset, revolution, and renaissance. If human attitudes don't change soon, we're going to end up eating each other, just like the Joker said. The predictive programming is right there in front of us. In Idiocracy, WALL-E, The Hunger Games, Fallout, and The Last of Us. Everything is turning into a dystopian shithole. Unless a major event forces humanity to stop, self-reflect, and change, I am deeply scared for the future. The 2020s have been without a doubt the worst decade I've ever lived through. Which brings me back to the future of this channel. This is my last normal long-form video. I will continue to post the remaining shorts I have scheduled until the end of the year, and after that, the uploads stop completely. I will not be deleting this channel. It will remain online as a time capsule since I have no other social media. I am also leaving the first season of my New York City Tales podcast up. I know I promised a second and final season for that podcast, but that'll have to wait until I'm completely finished with it. If you're interested in listening to the second season of my podcast, please tune into the official New York City Tales podcast YouTube page for any updates. The full episodes of the podcast will be broadcasted on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and other listening platforms. If there is anyone watching this who wants to be a creator on YouTube, here's my final piece of advice. Find your niche, find your audience, and stick to it. Always create the content you want to make, and never look for validation from others. Work hard because nothing is going to drop from the sky onto your doorstep. If you want to change your life, you have to force yourself out of your comfort zone and do things that challenge you, or nothing will ever happen. Success in life is a combination of massive action and sheer dumb luck. And above all, remember this: be yourself always and be your own savior. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to solve your problems for you. Your happiness is your own own responsibility. No matter how brutal life gets, you have to keep moving forward, learning, and growing. As a younger millennial, I'm officially passing the torch. Gen Z and Gen Alpha can take over from here. YouTube will keep evolving. To my subscribers, my casual viewers, my friends, and my family who are listening to this, thank you for being part of my journey and getting to know me and my crazy life as a native New Yorker. It's been an honor being on this platform for nearly 20 years and 10 years on this channel. I hope my videos gave you something, whether they made sense to you, related to your life, made you laugh, or even if they completely got under your skin. Love me or hate me, I really don't care. I'll keep the door open a tiny bit just in case I ever decide to return, but it is by no means a guarantee. It was fun while it lasted. So long and farewell, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again.